Good morning. Welcome to Mantra 108. We are on day number 5 of our peace mantra, our Shantipat mantra. This is the mantra that sends out a prayer for all beings. We chant this mantra not only for ourselves, not only for our family, not only for our community, but for all beings in all the worlds. This is a prayer for comfort and happiness for all beings. This is a prayer for freedom from disease, illness, sickness for all beings. This is a prayer that all beings might see what is good, what is gracious, what is spiritually uplifting. And this is a prayer that no one would suffer. No one would suffer pain, sorrow, any kind of suffering. Dukkha means suffering, means pain, means discomfort. So this is a prayer that no one would suffer in any way. So as always, I'm waiting for a few moments for everyone to join. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I see a few coming on already. I'm going to have a sip of my lovely decaf. Lisa, I see that you're on. I hope you got the chia pudding recipe. And by the way, I'll say, while I'm talking about chia pudding, I'll say that that in fact was the chocolate chia pudding recipe, but I also make a really yummy lemon chia pudding. So if you love lemon, you can just kind of substitute the cacao for a little bit of what do you call the peelings? Zest, a little lemon zest and lemon juice. Quite a bit of lemon juice. Actually, I think I put in a good half a cup of lemon juice and lemon zest that just replaces the cacao, and it turns it from a chocolate pudding to a lemon pudding. Very delicious for breakfast or for dessert. So, you know, I'm still killing time here. So the other thing that's really good about chia pudding is that chia has a lot of great nutrient values. So it gives you all kinds of vitamins and minerals and nutrients. And it also has a lot of fiber in it. Fiber's good for our digestive tract. You can Google chia to find out all the wonderful properties of chia seeds. So it makes that little morning pudding or dessert pudding very healthy for us too. And since we're using stevia or erythritol or, you know, any of those healthy alternatives to sweetening, it keeps us away from sugars and that kind of thing. So all in all, very healthy. Okay, I think enough of us are here now. I can quit chitty-chatting and get to business. So I told you yesterday that I wanted to talk to you about Visarga. Visarga is the letter of the Sanskrit alphabet that we see appear 3 times actually in our mantra. It's in Sukhinaḥ, it's in Nirāmayāḥ, it's in Kaścidduḥkha. So 3 times there in this chant that we're doing. The Visarga will always appear after a vowel in the Sanskrit alphabet. It appears after a vowel, and as you can hear in the way we're chanting this, it echoes the vowel that precedes it. So rather than Sukhinaḥ, it's Sukhinaḥ. Rather than Nirāmayāḥ, it's Nirāmayāḥ. We see it in Shanti with the dot under the H in Shanti when we chant Shanti, Chanti, Shanti, because the vowel before that is the vowel that looks like an I in English, but it's pronounced E. So that would be Shanti. We all, many of us know that. I think all of us know that. Shanti. That's the Visarga at the end. But what I want to teach you about Visarga is so beautiful. So the energy of Visarga is the energy of giving your life back to the universe. It's a full offering of your breath, of your prana, of your life force energy as an act of compassion and an act of renunciation. We expel our breath until there's nothing left. We give it fully to the universe. And so when we make this sound of Visarga, everything is being given back. So all of our life force energy, we give back to all of creation. All of our life force energy, we give back to the entire universe. All of this energy we give back as an act of compassion. So many of you know the word bodhisattva, and you know the meaning of that word. The bodhisattvas are beings who have, and this is a very popular word in Buddhism. So the bodhisattvas are beings who have done all of their penitence, all of their austerities, all of their spiritual practice lifelong, and they have reached a state of enlightenment that would allow them to just be in nirvana, be in pure bliss consciousness. But instead, they choose to come back to another life cycle, another karmic cycle. They choose to come back to give their compassion to others, to be a force for compassion here in this living world, in this human existence. So the bodhisattvas are very selfless, completely selfless. The bodhisattvas are complete beings of compassion and selflessness. So this Visarga is like, pronouncing the Visarga in our mantra, when we do it correctly, it's like the bodhisattvas. We're giving of ourselves completely back to all beings, completely back in compassion, giving everything that we have, giving all of our prana, giving all of our life force back. So the technical side of Visarga is that, like in our mantra, you see it at the end of a line 2 times for Sukhinaḥ and Nirāmayāḥ. And you also see it in the middle of the word Kaścidduḥkha. So when you see it in the middle of a word or in the middle, well, wait, I don't want to say that first. I want to say that when you see it at the end of the line of text, like we have here in Sarve Bhavantu, Sukhinaḥ, that's when we give this full echo of the vowel before it, and we give it our all. When we make that sound, we should be out of breath because we're giving everything that we can. Sukhinaḥ. We're out of breath, so we have to take a breath to be able to chant the next line. Sukhinaḥ. Nirāmayāḥ. Sukhinaḥ. Nirāmayāḥ. So it's not something that we do half-heartedly. I almost said half-assed. That's a no-no on this. So it's not something that we say half-heartedly. We say it with full heart, full compassion, full giving back. This whole mantra is about giving this prayer, offering this prayer out for all beings. So when we pronounce the visarga at the end of these two lines, we're giving with our breath, we're giving our full self back. And when we think of giving back completely in this sense of fullness, giving of our life force back to the universe, when we do this small act in our mantras, it's in a way preparing ourselves for the final act of giving our final breath back to the universe, back to all that is, back to the divine, because the divine is all that is. So visarga is a letter, it's a syllable, it's an utterance of compassion. It's an utterance of giving ourselves fully. It's an utterance of grace. Now, when you see the visarga in the middle of the line or in the middle of the word, like Kaścidduḥkha, so let me first address in the middle of the line. So we all know, I think we all know, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So when you think of that, it's written the same way. Shanti, S with a line over it for the Shanti, with a dot under that H, which is the visarga, at the end of Shanti, Shanti. And then the last Shanti is written exactly the same way as those first two. So the last is Shanti, because when it's written at the end of the line, it is pronounced as the echo of the vowel before it, Shanti. When it's in the middle of the word, we don't pronounce it in that way. We just let that echo happen subtly, almost with just a subtle breath like this. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Now, in our word, Kaścidduḥkha, So if it was going to stop, if the word stopped at duh, duh, we would say duhu, duhu, but it doesn't. It has the whole word, and that visarga is right in the middle of it. So we say Kaścidduḥkha. So it's just, you almost just do it with your thought when it's in the middle of the word, but it's still the intention or the thought, the intention of complete giving of compassion with that letter. Okay, so is the visarga cool or what? The visarga and the anusara are my two favorite Sanskrit letters. And the anusara has a different explanation. The anusara is the one, if you think of the word and the M with the dot over it, that's the anuswara. We had many of the anuswaras in our last mantra. Shreem, Hreem, Kreem, Galam, Gam. Both of those words had the anuswara at the end. So the anuswara has another completely different expression and meaning and fullness to it than the visarga. But we'll only talk about the visarga for this mantra. So now you know how special that sound at the end of Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ, Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Oh, the one last thing I'll say about the visarga at the end of the line is that remembering that we're giving it our all, we're giving it all of our breath, we're giving it everything we have, we're giving total compassion back to all beings, or out to all beings. So when it appears at the end of the line, sometimes you'll hear people chanting it like Sukhinaḥ. Sometimes you'll hear people chanting it Sukhinaḥ. Depends on the tradition. But for this mantra, because we want to stay within the appropriate meter of the mantra, we're doing it ha, like a staccato, like an accentuation point, like a, what do you call it? Not a comma, not a period, an exclamation, like an exclamation point at the end of the phrase. Sukhinaḥ. We really want to emphasize it. So that's Visarga 101. Let's chant our mantra. Go ahead and close down your eyes. Begin to sink into the sound of our tampura. Find your grounding. Find your grounding to the earth. Find your opening to the heavens. Let both of those energies come into your being. Realize the fullness of this so that you can also realize that you have this fullness to give. You have this fullness within you to offer in compassion to all beings in all the worlds. Let's take an inhale to begin. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrani Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrani Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Ma Kaścidduḥkha Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sit with the silence of your vibration. The resonance of the divine. That brings us to the end of our practice today. I feel very buzzy. Ooh, that energy of pronouncing Sanskrit appropriately, doing it with appropriate meter, doing it with appropriate svara, and being aware of the depth of the letters, the depth of the syllables, the depth of the visarga today brings, I hope for you, a new dimension to your practice. And so I'll say goodbye for today and leave you with your beautiful mantra afterglow. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Love to all.